Hi everyone, once again, very good evening. It's Friday night and it's VC Secrets. All right, so there's something very, really awesome tonight, right? Because we did the V.C.S model, and obviously we covered VC. So tonight is about scaling. It's all about scaling tonight, right? So before I would begin, like I would strongly encourage everyone to go to Enlace, join Enlace if you are hearing about this for the first time. And last is actually a community whereby a lot of subject matter expert in the areas of investing, doing business, they come into this community and provide a lot of inputs, right? With no strings attached. So with all these resources, right, it could really help, like the peers that are all, like struggling in different areas of whether it's in investing or in the business, right, to find this little nuggets of advice and wisdom that these uh, this experts has accumulated over time. Yeah. So yes, let me begin with the presentation proper. Hey, hi, Nicholas. So if everyone is here and knowing me for the first time, very quick introduction would be, like I really have the privilege to start off as a venture capitalist back in Singapore Press Holdings. And during that time, like in the media space, media technologies are super new. So we have to create kind of a bit of an acceleration funnel to bring in all the tech solutions and synergize with SPH existing products, existing network of clients and things like that. So that was the very first time I pioneered the first corporate accelerator program in Singapore. And I brought this whole like a framework and the skill sets over to DBS, and that's where we started DBS Startup Exchange. Why is it very very unique and very important? Because DBS, right? They have a huge emphasis on digitalization, right? Like transforming the business to create a lot more digital offerings. Like versus being a branch and then just go there and bank in your stuff. So so with that, right, it really challenges me because I felt that the model that creates for innovation, like to show that we are innovative, it's not gonna last. Because end of the day, we must ask ourselves truthfully, what problems are we trying to solve at the end of the day, right? What solutions are we going to bring, and how can these solutions, right, benefit both, big organization like DBS and also startups out there, right? So how can we create a win-win situation? And also how could we also bring in the rest of the ecosystem partners, operators, vendors, clients? How do we bring them in, and co-create, awesome stuff together? So I thought that was very interesting, and that's how I started off creating different kind of frameworks and models. And 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 the beautiful part is, in these models, right, it always addresses, from the value perspective, what are we trying to create, what problems are we trying to solve, what value are we trying to bring, to the table. And because of that kind of thinking, right, I finally had a chance to do this project. So in this project, it's called the V.C.S framework, right? So you guys all know. And in this V.C.S framework, really is to be able to create a plug and play solution, whereby like all businesses out there, SMEs especially. So you guys are very much very similar to startups, right? Very lean resource. I'm trying to scale quickly, trying to operationalize and go to market with your different kind of products. So I was thinking if I could just, like simplify things, because there is a lot of business kind of models that consultants use, and they charge you an arm and limb, right? And this is not the best time to pay more money. This is the time where you firefight, right? This is a time where you bootstrap. So so I think this is also the time where such a model is very very important, where you simplify things, you create a plug and play system whereby people can look at their business and based on the model guidelines, be able to diagnose where are the areas that they can improve, and how do we actually use some of the hacks, right, the startup use, right, whether is it growth hacking, whether is it product market fit, stuff like that. How did they use all these hacks, right, to create awesome products and solutions? Yeah. So that's the whole intent. And yeah, so all these tests that we did, right, and all these mistakes that we made, right, are essentialized, and hopefully, created very good lessons that the team over here are able to share, with the community, right? So we started off talking about validate, and in validation, right, it's really about uh, how do you actually find the problem and the solution fit, right? Like if what exactly are you trying to solve? So for that, we actually provided kind of a model. We even gave you guys a worksheet to work on. So if you guys have not have access to that worksheet, it's actually on our Endless units. So you go to units, and under those resources, you'll be able to find the customer avatar, and you can be able to use that worksheet to understand who is the customer that you're serving. Yeah. But otherwise, can always visit my episode. So for Validate is episode 3. So in episode 3, we talk about, things like the solution that you're providing, right? Is it a painkiller or vitamin? Is it something that you must have, or something that it's good to have, right? So there's a huge difference. Like you pay surgeon a lot of money when there is an emergency, or like maybe you hurt yourself, and you really need like a surgeon to work on you, right? You wouldn't negotiate on price, because this is not a good to have, this is a must have. So whatever it is, make sure you have an insurance to take care of that operation, right? So even if you apply the same concept to your business and the products that you're putting out there, right? Then the real question is, like how painful it is to not have your product, yeah. So there are there's different stages that we need to ask ourselves, right? So number one, who is your client, right? Who is your end customers? Have very good clarity in that, and obviously go back to the customer avatar worksheet, and you'll be able to build up the client that you're targeting. And secondly, why the problem that you're solving, right? And they want to pay you for it, right? Why? What's the reason, right? Is the problem that you're solving such a big problem, right, that they'll pay you a premium for that, right? And thirdly, right, how big is your market? How many of them are willing to pay you for the solution that you're solving? Okay. So this is validation, and in validation phase is really about making sure that you find a very good fit between the problems that you're trying to solve and the solutions that you're trying to create, and test this hypothesis with people. Yeah. So there are several ways that we can do that, right? We can do observations, we can do surveys, but very important is make sure you have prototypes, right? So create prototypes. Like for example, if you want to create I don't know, like XO chao kway teow with giant shrimps. I just saw it on Facebook. Well, you have to fry it and get people to taste it and give you feedback, right? And create a few versions so that people can, like compare, right? And then you can write down those notes. So yes, build prototypes, and make sure that you get feedbacks from the ground. But here's an important point. The differentiates validate and confirm. Validate is really your ideas, your hypothesis, and you're testing it. But confirm, right, is where people are ready to pay you for it. So it's not good enough if people tell you, hey, very good idea, I love it, right? Or super brilliant, super brilliant. But people need to pay you for it, right? So do you agree? If you agree that people needs to pay you for a product and not just tell you they like it, right? Please type agree. Yeah. So that brings me to confirm, right? So in confirm, there's a couple of things that's super, super important, right? You obviously need a business model to tell you, like how you're going to make money out of this whole endeavor, right? Secondly, you obviously need to make sure that there is a very good product and market fit. So there's a market that's going to buy the product from you, right? Make sure there's a good fit. And then thirdly, right, always make sure you have an MVP and go with MVP. So what does MVP mean? Minimal viable product, right? Create a minimal viable product and test the market. Test the market and see how the market responds to that product, right? Hey, Shin Yuk Sun, hi. So yeah, so make sure that you get validation, uh, not just from your friends, but confirm it with your market. Confirm that they're willing to pay you for your product. So there are a couple of ways to do it, and in the last session, right, I did talk about like the whole middle portion confirm is always undermined by a lot of founders. They say like, I have a super brilliant product, I'm so excited about it, let's think about how to scale this product. So they kind of like skip the middle portion, and that's why a lot of times, right, they run into a lot of trouble, right? Because either they run out of funds, the machine falls apart because like they haven't gelled the team together to make sure that they are able to operationalize on serving the customers, things like that. So that is why I've talked about a couple of things in the last episode, which is like number one, right? Like when you create products like this, you must be really solving a very very needed a very needed solution, right? You must be solving a pain that is very needed. Yeah, sorry. So it's very interesting because there's no way you can research, right, in the market for such an existing solution, because if it's existed, right, then how would you by definition, right, create a market for yourselves, right? So you need to find a niche space, and that's why you need to find what is the hidden need. So basically, like for example, Wix.com, right? I was giving the example. Now, Wix.com, it's like it might sound like a dumb solution, like it's templated website. You go in and then you just put in certain things and then your site's done, right? And the founder did say that when they try to pitch that product to investors, they all think it's dumb, because they feel that like those days people actually code the using Dreamweaver and all that, right? I believe some of you guys would remember people actually code the web pages, right? HTML and all. So nobody would actually use Wix. This is a dumb idea, right? But the founder is very clear. The founder is very clear that the hidden need, right, is not about building websites. The hidden need, right, is to bring their product, service, or whatever they need to market, right, online as soon as possible. Yeah, that is the need. That's the hidden need. And Wix saw that need and they went in to solve that problem. Yeah. So make sure that you're able to identify what's the hidden need, and get that solution to your customer, so that in that way you actually kind of carve out your own market, right? And think about this. When people use your product, always remember to capture the feedback, and there's a few ways. One way is you can do survey. The other way, which is really, really important as well, is to observe. That means you don't ask them anything, and don't even listen to the solutions they provide you, right? What you really want to pick up is, where are the pains? So when they are interacting with your product, right, the experience, where are the pains? And be very, very sensitive to that, because those are basically very critical feedback to building awesome products. Yeah. So make sure that you capture the user journey, right, when they experience when they interact with the product. And obviously sometimes people say, right, if they take your product and use it and modify it for something else, that process is something that you should not say, that's not the area of market I'm serving. That's not about that. Actually, that's super important, because that is what the market is speaking to you. They are saying that hey, this product, right, is awesome to, if we use it for this for this whatever thing, right, they want to solve. Yeah. So be very, very attentive to that as well. Oh, I have a question. So sometimes, it's something that is quite hard to get honest feedback from customers. Is pretty true, but okay, there's two elements I want to talk about this. So yes, you can get survey, and you can incentivize them, but then remember I mentioned about observation. So you're actually not really getting them to tell you directly stuff, right? What you really want to do is to observe, when they use the product, right? Look at the expression, especially capture those points when they are very frustrated, right? Like then you see at which journey they are frustrated with. I actually been to when I was in States, right? Actually been to Amazon's warehouse, and I volunteered though, but I was being put in this room, right, with cameras, and I was being asked to use the Amazon page, right, to try to buy a book. so they are trying to understand, from the consumer journey, right? Even from my eyeball, there was camera looking at my, like my where my eyes are looking, where the heat maps on the screen, and where my mouse are moving. They're trying to understand, like in this consumer, journey, right? Where are the pain points that I experience? And really, these are important feedbacks to them, because they will know, like, is it better if I reduce the number of clicks to get to what he wants? And is this hypothesis, right, shared across a lot of audience? Yeah. So these are important observations that you can actually get from your customers. But here again, do not let your customers tell you what to do, right? That's not what you need. Yeah. You need to observe what is the pain that they're trying to solve. Yeah. Because I give you one example. If Henry Ford, during that period of time, right? Henry Ford invented cars, but during that period of time, right, it's all horse carriages. If Henry Ford were to ask people, right, what do you envision, right, the future of transport will look like, right? They will tell you, give me a faster horse. Am I right? So sometimes, it's like that. There's only so much customer feedback can give you, but you have to really think about what is the underlying problem that you're trying to solve. So in that example, right, what Henry trying to solve is to get from point A to point B in the shortest span of time, and obviously it don't have to be a horse. So sometimes, like though it seems like we are thinking of the box, but really this is a discipline whereby, I felt it's important to share with everyone. That's why I put it over here, and make sure that, when you guys are doing your product testing and then try to find a product market fit, right? At least you guys have these guidelines and look at it and see how it can help you guys. Yeah. And eventually remember to not be paralyzed, or they call it analysis paralysis, right? Be paralyzed by overthinking. Yeah. So create your minimal viable product, put it out there, make sure your entire team is focused, mission critical focus, to launch that minimal viable product and get it out there. Why is it important? It's important because if you don't put the product in the hands of your customers, right, how would you know if they like it, if they don't like it, if they want to experience it in a different way, etc., right? How would you know? You do not know. So what is the risk? The risk is, right, A, you overthink it, you didn't do anything. B, you did everything. And after you put that final product in the customer's hands, they tell you that, like, actually, this button don't make sense. And then, so painful, right? Because you did all your marketing and all that. So to keep your customers happy, to keep, to get returning customers, you have to, like, this, you gotta tear your things apart and reassemble them in a way that the customer wants. So the most expensive way to produce a product is to ignore the customer's feedback, right? To just go straight to the full product development. That's the most expensive way to do it, right? So have a minimal viable product. It's super understandable. Everybody has version 1, version 2, version 3, right? We improve along the way, but make sure that you don't spend too much time, in the validation phase, right? Once you have validated already, you know what you need to do. Quickly go into confirmation phase, build out that minimal viable product, and put them into the hands of your customers. Yeah. All right. All good here, everybody. All good here. If all good, just type good. All right. Thanks. Okay, so today, right, our focus is really about scaling. And people always have the misconception, right? Scaling equals to growth hacking. Sales and marketing and the growth hacking paradigm, right, is very much being confirmed during the confirmation phase. I will dedicate another session, right, just to talk about, the growth hacking process, right? Acquisition all the way to referral. But scaling is really about, your ability, right, to run your business without being hampered, right? Whereby you are not the bottleneck. And this requires a lot of, a lot of discipline to make sure that you have all the SOP right. So today, the whole session is really dedicated about how you can actually approach this. So let me start with the definition. Yeah. So in this definition of scaling, right, and so that we are all on the same page, it's really about, you know, making sure that you are able to to bring this company, right, to a stage where it has that foundation to support growth, right? And this growth, right, can continue to expand um, without having it to be hampered in any ways. And and I have my own definition for this, where I would like to break this out a little bit more. So the job of the startup, right, is to search, right, it for what? For a repeatable and a scalable business. That's the job of the startup, to find and hunt for that repeatable and scalable business, right? It's a temporary organization. And when these temporary organization transit, right, to a medium size, you know, enterprise of sorts, right? This is where actually a lot of founders uh, could not make the transition. Why? Because a lot of young founders, they didn't have that large organization experience, so they do not know how to manage, like, say, you know, like hiring sales VPs, marketing VPs, or, you know, they do not know how to create hierarchies, and do not know how to monitor and appraise, you know, the people that supports this hierarchy. So sometimes um, we have that mentality that we build a business and this is our baby and we should, like, you know, see it from day one all the way to the ends, right? Actually, it's not true. You know, like even Steve Jobs, you know, at some point in time, he left Apple. You know, he got beaten up a little bit. You know, he went out there and he learned his stuff and he came back in, and and you see, he built an even more awesome organization. So sometimes when it comes to scaling a company, right, it's also a very different skill sets altogether. Yeah. So I hope you guys understand. You know, do not be too bogged down by the fact that, oh, you know, when I ask for investments and my VCs or my investors, you know, they want to replace me. You know, they want to put a CEO there and all that stuff. That is actually perfectly okay, right? Because at the end of the day, you know, you need to ask yourself, right, the whole intent is really to create, you know, an awesome scalable business, and that skill sets, right, sometimes we do not have, and it's perfectly fine, you know. But obviously, you know, if you are given the opportunity, you know, I do encourage that you also learn to, you know, transit, you know, to be able to pick up all these important skill sets as you move along the growth curve of your company. Yeah. So, okay, first question: what do you think is the most important focus when it comes to scaling your company, right? What do you think is the most important focus? Is it, you know, creating predictability in the company, or creating scalability in the company? So if you think it's predictability, you know, type in predictability. If you think it's scalability, right, from onset, from day one, right? If you think it's scalability, you know, type in scalability. What do you think, you know, um, when it comes to building your business, is the most important focus? And as you guys are typing the response, right? So I need to explain, when we talk about scaling, right? It's not about incremental growth, right? It's about doubling, right? It's exponential growth. Yeah. So incremental growth, um, not that it's bad, but it's a very different model altogether. Yeah. Oh, waiter. So scalability, unfortunately, is not the focus. Okay. Let me explain to you why. Okay. Because let's say, for example, you want to build a very fast car, but if you have not built the foundation, the frame, you know, the backbone of the car, the you know, the wheels, you know, the strong tires and all that, right? You put in a Ferrari engine, right? What's going to happen to the car, right? When it ramps up, things will tend to fall apart. So that's why, you know, it's very important to actually build predictability. Predictability means things that you can actually replicate. See, you get the drift, right? So when you can actually repeat stuff, you kind of have like the SOP. And so when you have more customers coming to you, awesome. You hire more people to attend to them, right? If you have more orders, awesome. You increase your manufacturing capacity because you have predictability in your system already. You're able to scale, right, your system and your business. Yeah. So I also want to highlight on the point, which is what's the difference, in terms of predictability and scalability, when it comes to timeline in your business, right? So on the x-axis is really the timeline, right? With a shared view in there, and on the y-axis is where your focus should be. Okay, so my friends, think about this. When you started your business, right, you really need to be very hands-on. You cannot like depend on other people to do stuff for you or hire a bunch of people to do stuff for you. So you have to be in the business. So that's why, like I highlighted here, right? You have to be in your business, working inside, right? Even if you have to throw rubbish, you have to throw rubbish, right? You're going to figure out all the nicks and crannies of your business. But as you progress and you see the curve actually intersects, at some point in time, you have to detach yourself, delegate those tasks, and start to work strategically on your business. And this is the point where you start to scale already. Yeah? Sounds good? So then you must be asking me, right? What is the point whereby you start to reduce your predictability and switch to the scalability mode, right? The on mode, right? It's really when you ask this question, are you the bottleneck? That means people cannot do things without getting your permission. Yeah. It's I don't know how more simpler I can put this, right? So if imagine you want to run $1 million or $2 or $5 or $10 million business, and everything has to go through you, right? I don't know, even if it's a good thing to have, I'm pretty sure this founder won't have a life. Am I right? Yeah. So you see, when you build your business to a certain point in time, and you just have to let go of certain things. You need to really identify who are the people you can trust, and empower them to make those decisions, and therefore you're able to start to be more visionary, right? To see perhaps regional expansion, going out there to create partnerships, with other business partners, right? More visionary stuff, more strategic stuff to scale your business, right? You can no longer be in the kitchen or the manufacturing plant, right? So be very mindful. If you want to scale your business, you must understand, what is your timeline, right? And make sure that at certain point you are willing to let go, and do this shift. Yeah, I know it's tough. Yeah, but that's why I'm sharing today, right? I'll just make sure that I highlight this point so that you guys know, right? At certain point in your business, this have to happen if you want to scale it. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Oh, Facebook user, you can actually click on the StreamYard thing so that I can know who you are. But yes, so on your question, I hope I've answered it. Yeah, awesome. So let's go to the next one. Hey, have you guys watched The Last Dance? Oh, it's very nice. So I don't know how many of you guys are actually basketball fans, and especially the Chicago Bulls fans, right? Well, that period of time was really nice watching the championship, right? And Michael Jordan taking all the shots is crazy. Yeah. I have a story, The Last Dance, but let's get back to our main scalability thing, right? So here's the question, right? If you want to scale your business, right? Which one do you have the highest chance of scaling? Which one do you think has the highest chance of scaling? Right? Is it system, product, or personality? Right? So system is basically like the process and the strategy, right, to get there. Like if 10% train for a marathon, right? Everybody has different systems when they train for it, right? So systems, or do you think it's product? So product is like like this. Like if you produce a music, right? These singles are so awesome, right? Is it whether it's a Gangnam Style or what, right? Do you think product is super important, or do you think it's the personality of the founder? So personality, right? So like I don't know, like there are celebrity founders like Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, and all that. You guys know. So do you think that personality is important in terms of like, scaling up your business, right? So of all these three, which do you think is the most important, right? So I would like to just hear your response. Yeah, just feel free to type in which do you think is the most important, right? Okay, awesome. So actually, all are important, but I have actually ranked them up right from left to right. So the most important is actually system, because system allows you to produce the results, right, based on the product that you have, with or without you. You know what I mean? So the systems is able to operate on its own, whether you're involved or not involved, right? There's the certain discipline where this system is already built up and is able to tackle the problem. Yeah. Then obviously the second, right, is product. But you see, product doesn't have to be the most important. You see, let me explain why. I'll give you an example. Let's say there's a very, very good book. And if this book doesn't find its way, right? Let's, for example, it's a locally written, very, very good book, but it's sold in a local bookstore, versus if it's sold on a platform like, say, Amazon, right? Quite obviously, the sales numbers are going to be different. The popularity is going to be very different. And so the product itself might be really good, but it also need a good platform to support it. Yeah, agree? Then finally, the last, which is personality. Personality, right? It's like the least most important thing in terms of scaling. In fact, it could create bottleneck. Like imagine you are a top lawyer. There's only so many cases that you can handle, right? Or if you're a top consultant, there's so many, clients that you can manage. So you become a bottleneck, right? So that's why I'm saying the most important is, if you want to create scalable businesses, you actually need systems. So you really need to think through, like what are the necessary things in place to make sure that you can systemize the process, and this whole system, right, can get you, not the slow growth which I mentioned, right? It's the doubling growth. Yeah. So whether is it in terms of customer acquisition, what kind of system do you use? In terms of customers management, like I don't know whether some of you guys are doing sales stuff, right? How do you manage a sales team? Yeah. So all these systems have to be in place, and all these systems on its own, right, has to be very awesome. Yeah. The sales team system that you use to manage your sales team has to be something that really charge and energize them, and make them very motivated to go out there and garner sales for you. This is an example. Yeah. So you see, so I go back to the last dance, right? It's very interesting because you see, Chicago Bulls has never been about personality. Yeah, you have Michael Jordan, all that, right? But you see, if you look at Chicago Bulls as a business, then Phil Collins, being the coach, right, actually use his products. What is his product? His product is Chicago Bull being the team. And inside there are people. So there are players like Dennis Rodman, Pippen, and Jordan, and the whole bunch, right? So these are all his products. And he trained his product using his system. I believe you guys have remember, if you watched the show, the triangular system, right? Yeah. So that triangular system that they use, for offense and defense, helps them to defeat so many teams, right? So with that show, you understand, okay, for them to get to that level of success, right? They basically did not depend on like one superstar or one super coach, or the brand of Chicago Bulls and all that. They really really depend on a full working system, get them to where they are. But here's even more important, guys, more important, right, for this slide is you need to be the driver. Yeah. So back to Phil Jackson, right? He is actually the person that drives the system. The system cannot work on its own just like that, right? He needs to train his team day in, day out until he makes sure that they master the system and able to execute that system, right? He has to drive it to the point whereby like everyone gets along and able to work together so that this system won't fall apart when the real competition begins, right? The real battle, right? So this is very important. You guys are business owners. You guys understand the system. That's important. But you guys also have to drive that system in order for it to work, right? So be very hands-on. Yeah. Okay. So now come to the very important part, and I probably will just spend a little bit more time on this, right? So I break it down into 4 steps that you can use and think about, right? And please prepare pen and paper if you want to jot them down. Otherwise, you can always come back to watch my episodes. These are 4 things that I felt is very important. There's really a lot of things you ask people, right? But I feel these are the 4 things that I think is really important in terms of scaling a business. Okay. Number 1, okay, even though it's not for SMEs, right? All SMEs to be scalable, to the extent of being the next Google, Facebook, or Amazon, right? But if you want to grow larger, right, you cannot neglect the fact that there's still the need for you to think big, right? And in order for you to think big, you really need to know where you're going. Yeah. So here again, what I'm trying to say is you need not have to go to where Amazon, Facebook, and all that are, but you need to know where. You need to know where you're growing your business to, right? So that you can get your company there, right? Now, there are a few important things in terms of positioning a company like that. Okay, if you want to attract financing to your company, for instance, you need to articulate the returns of investments, right? So if you can't tell the investors exactly where you are bringing your company to, how you're going to grow it there, how are they going to know how much they're going to evaluate your company at, right? So here's the thing. They will evaluate your company. That's their job. But your job is also to be able to explain very clearly, this is my vision, this is where I'll bring it to. And this is why I think my valuation is here. Yeah. Okay. So from a VC perspective, I think that is very, very important. Right? Now, another area is, it's like people ask, right? Whose lunch, sorry. So the reason why I paused was people always like to say, like who's eating our lunch? And this brought me back to some memories because back in SPH, I'm looking at the digital business, right? Remember those days you have Storm and what channel, what Asia One and all that. So the conversation is always, who's eating our lunch, right? So you have, like the Smart Local, Mothership and all that, right? So these little companies are popping up and they're eating our lunch. And you see what's the problem? The problem is when you're always on the defensive mode, right? There's a tendency to lose stuff, right? Because you're trying to protect your moat, right? But that's why I purposely write it here, because I felt that it's even more important to think about whose lunch can we eat? Who is the incumbent business or whatever, right? That we can replace. If we can do that, right, then that is called a disruption. The problem that we are solving exactly hit what the customer needs, and nobody in the market is able to do that, then you got it. You got a disruption, a true blue disruption. Yeah. So that's why I felt that, I don't know whether you guys agree with me or not, but if you guys agree with me, just type disruption. Yeah. So I feel that companies cannot be too complacent. You know, and always be in a defensive mode. You must always think, like, what can I do right in my business, in such a way whereby, the next thing that I think about, right, is whose lunch can I eat? Yeah. Okay. So I put this thing called the up, down, left, right thinking. Okay. So if you want to raise funding, you look up, right, for investors, for money. If you look at the previous sharing about whose lunch you want to eat, you look down and look at, okay, you have all these players. But you also have to look left and right to see your adjacent markets. Where are the opportunities as well, right? So we spoke about getting venture financing, getting funding to scale your business. You look up, right? You make sure you have enough budget to make mistakes and or fund your operations and things like that, right? So you look up and get the funding. You look down, you look at all the players, right, and see how you can, create an opportunity that differentiates yourself. But you also have to look at, your adjacent markets, right, and see, you know, in this current situation, is this where you want to stay? So let me give you back the Henry Ford question. This example. If you look left and right, you go on the street, right, you will see horses everywhere. Yeah. So your adjacent markets are all different brands of horses, probably like different farmers. But this guy is like thinking, what is the underlying problem that I want to solve, and figure out that solution. So if the underlying problem is to get from point A to point B in the shortest time, and therefore, what is that solution? Yeah, you get what I'm saying? So instead of, so these are the four, these are the in fact, these are 4 areas, right? So you look up, you look down, you look left, you look right, right? So these are 4 different things that you think about. Yeah. Okay, step number 2, okay, the second step is very important. Actually, I want to use a local term. It's called Yaya Papaya, right? So a lot of times we tend to celebrate victory too early. Guys, we tend to celebrate victory too early. But you must understand this thing. Big thinkers, right, expect victory. You get what I'm saying? Say, for example, you sign on a customer $500,000, then you just went out party, right? Which is fine. You can celebrate. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you cannot celebrate. But people tend to party for too long, right? And become complacent. I like somebody's comment here, right? Always be in survival mode. Yes, it's like fighting a battle. You cannot sit in one spot for too long. If you sit in one spot for too long, you become this phenomenon called the sitting duck, right? Other competitors will study what you're doing, and very quickly you will be replaced. So you have to keep on moving. You have to keep on moving, right? So it's very important to think about milestone. It's really not about, like how much money, we want to make and become rich, right? It's about growth also. It's about, like climbing higher heights, right? Climbing the mountains, right? Scaling higher heights, right? So you really need, to make sure that your vision, remember I shared, right, know where you're going, right, and plan your way towards that direction, so that you don't sit in one spot for too long. And that's what happens to a lot of, our friends around us, right? Would you agree? Because sometimes when they probably never see like a 5 million deal, for example, right? A 5 million deal come in, and then they go like, okay, I think that's enough lah. They just chill, and then they can stretch the money as long as I think that is completely, injustice to the fact that, there's aspiration to want to scale. Yeah, you want to scale, you have to move. You cannot sit in the same spot. Yeah. So this is one point that I really want to highlight. And the second one, sorry, the third one is, you need to actually find an ultimate solution. But don't get me wrong. Ultimate solution. Okay, what I'm trying to say is this. When you run your business, there's so many things that will pop up, right, along the way, right? This screw up, that problem, appointment cannot schedule, money cannot collect, customer complain, maybe, like waiter, right? You're doing swimming thing, maybe you want to have a coach never turn up, right? So your guys will be coming to you and say, hey, 老板, how? Boss, what are you gonna do, right? Now, guys, if you want to scale your business, remember we talked about system, right? Make sure that you can create a solution that's not just a handy plus, just based on it, right? Make sure you really heal the wound. Because what's going to happen is, for example, if you have a bottle that has one small leak and you don't fix it properly, right? There's one more leak that comes along the way and you still don't fix it properly, right? And then maybe you have 5, 10 different, holes that threatens to leak, but you just put a temporary solution, right? What happens if all this starts to decide to party and all leak at the same time? So I've seen this so often, right? This is where, they call it, right? And and pardon my French, right? When crap hits the ceiling, right? Yeah, or hits the fan. So when you guys are planning to scale your business, ensure that you create system SOPs whereby, it is a longer term solution. Yes, it might mean that your meeting will last 1 to 2 more hours because your staff will be like trying to help you to figure out what that solution is, right? Versus the instant one that they gave you or you thought about it, right? Maybe it's a longer meeting, or perhaps it might require you to sleep on that solution overnight and think about it the next day, or perhaps you might even have to test it for 4 days, 5 days, or a week. Now, depending on the situation, but invest this little bit more time to create a proper solution, right? And in business terms, it's actually the ultimate solution. Yeah. When you want to scale your business, if you want to scale your business, make sure that these moving parts, right? Because you have a lot of moving parts. Make sure these moving parts are all properly fixed and well greased and able to function properly. Yeah. Do not take shortcuts. Okay, the fourth point that I want to share with you guys, and hope I'm not running out of time. Okay, the fourth point I want to share with you guys is about leverage. I'm sorry, I just got drawn to this poster because it has the word leverage and it has all the individual characters, and I thought it's very cool. But I actually haven't watched this Korean show, and I'm not promoting this Korean show either. Okay, all right. So leverage. Okay, leverage is very, very important when it comes to scaling because you see, you need to have, number one, a pool of talented people working around you. You see, we are born, right, with a lot of skills, yes, but not all the skills. We may be good in certain things, but then we'll be short on certain other things, right? And we only have 24 hours. So guys, please, also invest time in hunting for good talents, groom them, give them opportunity, right? So that you can leverage on them in terms of their skill set, and they can leverage on you in terms of your experience and what you have built, all the awesome stuff that you have built, right? So make sure that you leverage on talents. Number two, leverage on networks, right? So I know there will be some sacrifice like equity or your lifestyle, like you have shorter hours to spend your family because you need to go out networking, right? Stuff like that. But it's worth it because you do not know what you do not know. If you go to, say, the relevant business network and talk to people, interact people, you may not know that actually maybe certain buyers are looking out for certain solution and you happen to have it. You may not know that there's actually certain shifts in the trend, right, that may impact your business. And because of that information, right, you are able to adapt your solutions to make sure that you adjust to the trend. Yeah. So all these things are important. And also, right, when you go out to network, you can also leverage on people's network. So for instance, you need to tap into, say, China, right? Then you need to know the people there, but obviously we are not born there. So how do we know the people there? Yeah, through network, leverage on their network, right? So these are things that you can do when it comes to leveraging. But the most important thing is your ability to attract resources like money. So where do you get money? You get from investors. Why is it important? Because you're not it's not possible to keep borrowing from the bank. There's only a certain limitation. You need money to finance your purchase orders, your inventory, your stocks, and all that kind of stuff, right? So leverage on money, right? Leverage on time, which I shared earlier. Build your talents, build your executive team, and also leverage on connection, the network, the partners, the vendors, and all this, right? So these are the three areas for leverage that I hope you guys are able to benefit from this sharing. So yes, I've shared the main gist of scaling today. All right. So if any area that you guys are not too sure about, feel free once again to ping me. You can actually message me on my Facebook page, or you can actually email me. So I actually left my email on the Facebook page as well. So you can actually find me on my Facebook page, and you'll be able to ask me more questions there. And if it's really necessary, no problem at all. Like let's grab coffee. And we can spend 30 minutes, 1 hour, whatever necessary to figure things out. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, which is the business clinic. Okay, I I think the business clinic is really awesome because I've been seeing so many people, right? They really struggle, especially during this time, right? In terms of the transition, in terms of like different elements, like really, how do I find product market fit? Because my product is very tourist driven, right? I remember I shared in one of the episodes, very tourist driven. So they actually sell goodies, and stuff like that. And it says, and now tourists don't come to Singapore, right? So I have no sales. So these are opportunities where like we actually have a team, and we come together and we analyze the problem, and we are able to actually share some of our ideas, our thoughts, and hopefully this all these ideas, right, are able to help the community, because like there are a lot of bosses, right, are actually doing very similar kind of businesses, so they can actually pick up some of these ideas or this approach and all that, right, to be able to improve their business. Yeah. So please do me a favor, share this link with your friends. Let me type this out: bit.ly/NLBIZ clinic. Okay, I hope I got it right. Biz clinic. Yep. So yeah, I hope that you guys would be able to share this link, the Biz clinic link, to your friends, and if they really have challenges, right, like don't be shy. Just use this link. Tell us where their challenges are and send it to us. Like every week we'll try to cover one or two at least. To make sure that we are able to give our time to everyone, right, fairly. Yeah, all good. Okay, so let's go into today's session for business clinic. It's quite interesting actually. Okay, so let me go open up the person's challenge. Huh? Okay, so this person, this business owner, he was sharing with us that they mainly take care of like electrical stuff, so CCTV, wiring, all this kind of stuff, like running all the wires, um, surveillance, and what else, Wi-Fi, and so basically all the electrical thing, right? And they're in the mercy of the main cons and the subcons, yeah. And they're asking, like, hey, Rudy, is there a way that I can actually get my customers from online, from digitally, right? Because they are very much waiting for business from the main cons, right? So how do I actually get customers directly so that they can actually earn a better premium, right? And how do I actually position my business? How do I position my business in such a way that is actually attractive for people to come to us? So I have created an idea. Okay, it's nothing super new. But I think this is something that is in trend with what's going on right now. So you guys know that in the last 3 years, Singapore has been very big on smart city and smart nation, right? Um, and actually this ideology is not very off the track. It's actually very doable, right? I'm sure you guys have already experienced, like the Google Home devices, or the Amazon Echo and stuff like that, right? So if you have seen all these devices, um, it actually functions very well with, the electronics in the rest of the house. Okay, so instead of just being an electrician, be an electrician plus, right? Whereby it's like a smart electrician, or in fact the smartest electrician, right? Where you can offer a one-stop, right? Whether is it voice activated or app controlled solution to manage your home electrical appliances or outlets. Yeah. So whether is it your motorized curtains, your sound system, connecting it to Spotify, or turning on your TV, right? Or even a simple thing as, like you're in your bedroom, you're on your bed ready, you want to read, right? And then you feel like sleeping already, you just say, like, hey Google, turn off the lights, and then the light turns off. Hey Google, wake me up at 7:30 a.m. And then Google says, okay, I'll wake you up at 7:30 a.m. Actually, that's what I do every night. So yeah, this solution is actually there. But be the electrician to wire up everything, right? And provide that solution and connect it with the Google Home command system, and also onboard the customers that's living in the house as to how to use all this thing, right? So be that one-stop solution. Now, why is this very interesting? Because it's here. Let's go through the different stages. Let's start with validate. So firstly, how this thing works, right? You need to develop a prototype, right? Are you connecting, the Google device? So, but I do suggest that please, like try to use a common platform like Google, right? Because if you use uh, standalone solutions, there's a chance whereby the solution don't speak to each other, and then you have more headache. You use a more common platform, and when the software upgrades or like new things get introduced, right, you can actually add on to that platform, and the platform are able to support those things. So I would suggest that like the Google reseller or Amazon, things like that. Yeah. So this is one consideration. Okay. So validate. You build your prototype, right? And it could be a bundle package, right? So number one, your prototype is what? Okay, I'm tackling smart homes, smart office. Are you tackling smart buildings? Yeah. Or do you see it as like that? So you want to tear it up? It's okay. It's a hypothesis. This is validation stage, right? Build your hypothesis, right? And build your prototypes around it. Now, bring your prototypes and go to people. If you have friends who are in the renovation business, you have friends in the real estate business, talk to them and then show them what you are doing. And then ask them questions like, how much are you willing to pay, right? And ask them, like, is there demand, from your clients, right, who buy houses from you, or from clients that do renovation, right? Ask them these questions, right? And once you have formulate your hypothesis, remember, always build your MVP, minimal viable product. So you can do something very simple like, build your package, right? Build your package, which is like maybe a basic model and a premium model, right? So basic model is maybe one control system and 4 control items. Maybe you can do curtain, maybe not curtain, maybe lights, TV, sound system. Yeah. Maybe lights you can change to like maybe living room, bedroom, things like that. Okay, sorry, I'm not an expert in this area, but what I'm trying to say is you form different packages, right? And put it out there. Minimum viable product. Okay. Simple, not super functional, not, let's say not super functional, but not no bells and whistles. Yeah, no bells and whistles, like just basic package, put it out there. Create your website. Okay, I would recommend you guys to use outsource stuff like Shopify, Wix, or even a Fiverr or Upwork, right? To build up your website and build up your support, right? Client support. So I just want to introduce a resource to everyone. Okay, over here. Okay, if you guys are seeing this for the first time, right, this is actually called Upwork. Upwork is really awesome. You can build your remote team um, when you don't want to spend too much money hiring and committing to too big a headcount, right? So it's very good for SMEs, or lean resource businesses. Okay, so think about like there are a lot of things over here in Upwork. So I'm looking at like web mobile software development, so website. um, I see sales and marketing. So sales and marketing really they can actually do Facebook ads for you. You can pay them to do Facebook ads. They are specialists in that area. It's not expensive. Okay, these people are actually not in cities, right? But they are super talented, right? They actually have reviews. You can actually look at the reviews, the number of projects they have done, right, and engage them. It's very similar to Fiverr, yeah. And guys, uh, remember what I say, right? Leverage, right? So time is of the essence. You cannot do everything yourself. There's no point to go and take 2-3 weeks Facebook ads page buy course, and just to do a few Facebook ads. Just hire someone to do it. That's what I feel. Because why? When you hire people, right, and your business start to grow and scale, right, you already know what you need and who can do it. So you can continue to engage the people that you can trust to do this work, because you worked with them before, right? So hire these people to help you, and work along with them, yeah. And give Upwork a try. I think it's pretty good. There's a lot of resources here. So they even have admin support, right? If you need one guy on the phone to talk to your customers, there's actually admin support here as well. So this is an awesome thing that you guys might want to use. Yeah. I've seen a few businesses, right? What they do is actually they build up their remote team. That is remote, meaning to say basically, these guys don't come to office. They are all operating from Upwork and all that. And when they build a remote team, right, they actually hire those people like full-time exclusive commitment to do their projects only. Yeah. So this is actually already not something that is, I would say, out of the blue. Is practiced. Yeah. So okay, sidetrack a little bit. So now back to this. After you have put your MVP out there, right? You want to do confirmation, right? So these are a couple of things you might want to do. Number one is for this business, that is a little bit of education. People need to understand, like, so am I hiring you as an electrician, or like what does smart home means, right? What constitutes smart homes? So basically what you do is create videos. All right. So if you have one or two clients already, right? Do a video of the house, or you go online and find videos. That's a hack. Okay. Go search Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube's, right, for smart home videos. Pick up those things that best represent your business. And once again, either go Fiverr or Upwork, right? And tell them you want, this part, this part, this part. You can stitch it together and slap your logo on it. Right? There you go. Right? Yeah, there might be some copyright issue. I don't know. So be very careful of those things. But if you can actually, maneuver around the copyright stuff, by all means, yeah. Because there is also what you call it now, loyalty free videos that you can pay like maybe $5, $2. I don't know how much is that. Basically, you can buy those videos as well. But what I'm trying to say is create viral video, create videos that's engaging, because that has more legs than saying one picture and this is what I do. Yeah. Okay? So create videos. Number two, create landing page. So after people watch the video, hey, very interesting. Well, I want my home to look like that. Before I come home, the door unlocks, right? Sense that I'm home. Then turn on the lights. When I open the door, the lights turn on. Things like that. Or I can even time when the aircon should start and off. So people might be very impressed with your video, but then you need a call to action, right? So create landing page so that, on that landing page, it's very different from the web page. On the landing page, right, it has very specific tasks. For example, schedule a meeting with the consultant, right? Press the button. Then the client will give you phone number, name, whatever necessary, right? You need to collect data. Yeah. So do all that, right? Because why it's important to confirm what you are putting out there is something people want. people willing to pay money for. Remember, we are at confirmation stage, yeah? So create all these channels for you to reach out to your customers and get your customers to respond back to you. Okay. And obviously, again, along the way, you need to fine tune your pricing and your package. And you don't do that out of imagination, right? How you do that? You actually speak to your customers, yeah, get their feedback and all that, yeah. So either you put out surveys, right, or you do interviews. These are ways whereby you can actually get feedbacks from your customers if the pricing and what you're offering, right, matches. Okay, the pricing and what they're willing to pay for that price matches, right? Product, market, fit, yeah. So make sure that happens. Okay. And the next thing you need to do is what we have mentioned earlier: identify key men. Identify key men whereby you can trust them to make decision for you. Yeah. So these people, you need to identify them at a very early stage of your business. Yeah. And these are all during your confirmation play stage already, right? Where, these real bullets, you're going out there firing already. You make sure that you have your squadron, right? All backing you up when you go into battle. Yeah. And obviously, life is such, right? Some people can make it, some people can make it, but you just have to put them through the stress and identify who are the people you can trust to make decisions for you. Okay, so this is confirmation stage, right? In this business, right? So when I say who you can trust, it's not just the people, your executive that works for you, but also your maybe your subcon, right? So the people that do the installation, or that if you're planning to outsource it out, right? Make sure that these people are able to deliver very good experience to the clients. Yeah. Okay. So now we go to scaling. How do you actually scale this smart home business? Number one, make sure that you have standardized your operandi, right? Operation procedures. Remember, we have systems for customer care, for sales inquiries, the marketing part, right? How do we actually do the campaigns online, social media, what's the tone that actually captures the most audience response? You have to test that, right? You can spam renovation forum. You can spam like I don't new home buyers group. There's a like group buy stuff, right? Yeah, you can do all those stuff, right? You can be there. Yeah, so make sure that you have all this SOP ready, so that when you get your message there, right, it's the one that is really yield the most outcome, the most returns. Yeah. And secondly, think about partnerships, right? Remember leverage, right? So partner with, say, real estate agents. When they close a deal, right, give them a sweetener. It's like they also want to differentiate themselves, right? Like, I'm a real estate agent, but I'm an agent that's able to help you get that dream home, right? The futuristic home that you want. Yeah. So help those real estate agents differentiate their business, and in return they also can help you. And probably there's some commission incentive in between, but that's fine, right? These are more salespeople on the ground that's helping you. Yeah. So leverage partners with still as real estate agents, and also partners with developers. So developers, when they build up their properties, right? They are fully in control, or in fact they influence the decision as to whether they want to build their property to be able to offer smart home facilities, right, that differentiate their properties from their competitors. So you can also think about that too, because if you want to scale, right, it's not just one home to home, right? You just want to do the whole unit, the whole block. Yeah. So that's another different level of playing already, right? It's not like increase 3 more homes, then your margin increase by 10-20%. No, we are talking about 2 folds, 5 folds, right? So you want to do one whole development. So these are considerations when you are thinking about scaling your business. Yeah. So I think I've covered most of what I need to cover for this. So I hope the owner of this business is here tonight. If not, again, can always watch my episodes. But also very importantly, if you guys think that whatever that I'm sharing is helpful, right? Can you give me a 1? Yes, say number 1. Yeah, that that this is something that is helpful for yourself, your friends, and out there, and whoever that that are running a business today. Yeah, and also very important, please like and share this program so that it has more legs, it gets out to more people, so that all this effort that I put in, right, which is already content all here already. I hope it's like a library. People can just go to it and take whatever information they think is necessary to help them, right, and use it. Yeah. So yes. So thanks so much, people. Like, thanks for being such a awesome audience. And yes, I hope to see you next week. Next week, same time, Friday 8 p.m. Right. I'm gonna bring in a guest. He's extremely successful in the area of drop shipping, and I want to use V.C.S. To analyze and help him in some ways, right, to see how this business can be even more awesome. So I think that will be a very interesting, like really fold your sleeve and go do it kind of session. So I'll be looking forward to that session, and I'll be looking forward to all of you guys. Thanks Rowan, thanks Victor. Thanks for being here tonight. I'm very, very encouraged that you guys are here, right? Waiter, thanks for being so supportive. Yeah, well, I'm glad that you enjoy the sessions. And if you guys have questions, right, like, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm very happy. Just buy me a cup of kopi or kosong, right? It works. Yeah. Okay. So I'll see you guys next Friday. And remember to like and share the page, and hopefully your friends will be able to benefit from it. All right. Good night, guys. Good night.